Welcome to TTX. This one is different than everyone else before it because today is the 11th of November. That has a significance that I didn't really consider until it just, oh, it's 11/11 now. But 11/11/22, we had a TTX physical, and we met up a group of 4 people, and we had a ceremony that kind of shifted everything, and it started everything. Everything that you've seen so far has kind of been it has been the result of that day. And today is my father's birthday, and it's Father's Day in Norway. So a lot of things happened on this day. But I figured if we're gonna go for a tale of transformation, then it makes sense to tell the story about the biggest transformation that I have ever seen, and how a year ago today that journey started, and what has happened because of it. Because a lot of things happened that I couldn't explain back then. And it took a long time for me to understand how these things play into my journey and the journey of those around me. But hold on. I do live on a mountain, but I do live very close to a road as well. So it's hard to know where to start. But on the 11/11/22, we had a podcast set up where we were going to meet up with George Monty on True Life podcast. We had no idea how to do it at all. We just knew that we were going to pick up the participants from the airport, and we were going to have a little meetup, getting to know each other a little bit physically, because it was the first time ever we met each other physically. And so we planned a few things, like what to do while we were waiting for the last participant and stuff. In this, I told this story a little bit before, where we figured we were going to go ice bathing. And this was right after we stood with the cars and we had this meetup, and we were standing 3 people and talking about things that kind of we talked about what we felt. And I felt in flow. I felt like I was about to do something that I could not really understand. I talked to my father, and I wished him a happy birthday. And at that point, we were also doing a remodeling of the bathroom. We were just tearing out an old bedroom to make it into a bathroom that was going to be a cave, going to be a sanctuary, a spa, right? It was a big project, and at this point, we were putting in the toilet. And the toilet was one of those self-cleaning ones. And if you have never tried that, I do recommend you try that, because when you sit down on the toilet and you don't have to do anything until you're done, and everything is just a very pleasant surprise and experience, it shifts your life to some degree. My dad called me and said that, you know what? The toilet that I received was a demo. I was told not to use it. So I'm kind of pissed off at this moment. Now, the toilet had specific things and features that it missed, it lacked, and I didn't like that. So I said that, I feel like this is going to work out, because it's not really that toilet, the perfect toilet, if it doesn't have the landing lights and the automated freaking lid. For those who knows, you know. Every time that freaking toilet opens, I'm like, oh, it's insane. But I said, don't worry, I feel like this is gonna work out. And I didn't know that back then, but didn't take long until he called me back, and he said that, you know what, I got the toilet, I got the one that you said, and it happened just like we hoped. At that point, I was like, well, it happened just as I knew. Because sometimes you feel like it's gonna be different than what is going on, and you know that something is going to be happening based on that feeling. Hold on, I'm just gonna turn off this. So we continued, and we figured we're going to do an ice bath. For those of you who have not done an ice bath, I really recommend you try that because it's transformative if you do it for the sake of learning something new, I guess. So we started to walk down the beach, and we came to this place, this dock, where another person just came out of the water. You know, it's something special when you see other like-minded people doing the thing that you are doing in November, because there are not that many ice bathers here. So he came down the docks, and we see this guy and was like, "Oh, hello, like-minded person," right? We came over there and we talked to this guy while we were getting undressed and getting ready. Before we got into the water, we did some Wim Hof exercises, and he was just observing us closely. And when we were done, having done the horse dance and all that stuff in the middle of a park in the middle of one of the bigger cities down south in Norway, with a lot of people watching, and making the sounds like ooh ooh, like we were going deep into it. After doing that, we got into the water, and as I was going down to the water, I slipped and fell on my butt, and I opened up my hand. Ooh, this is interesting. I rarely cut myself. I rarely hurt myself. But a few days ago, I was going out here, and I tripped and I caught myself, and I have now a little mark that is kind of identical to the one I had a year ago on the same hand. It's like, remember this. But I fell and I landed on my butt, and I kind of had caught my landing with my hand, so I cut it a little bit. And then I went into the water, and it was cold, so it hurt. It hurt a lot, and I felt like this is something that I have to focus on afterwards. So I started to focus on the pain that was going on everywhere else on my body, and soon enough, I started to feel my body more, and I asked Marius, "How long are we gonna stay?" I don't know, 10 minutes. I'm not sure if that's what he said, but it felt like that. But the seconds passed, and all of a sudden, it didn't matter. We could have swam around there for as long as we felt like, and I felt like that's pretty cool. I've never really had that sensation in doing an ice bath before. Um, and so when the time passed, and he felt like we were really primed, we went back up. And we went back up to the park where we had done the Wim Hof horse dance, and this time we were going to do something different. We were going to do the woodchucks. So we were like, "Woo!" Right? And we just shouted. Three guys actually, because the last one hadn't arrived yet. We're standing there shouting. A lot of people are just looking around, like standing around us at this point, and we didn't really care. But we did care, I'm not gonna lie. It felt kind of weird. But after that, we sat down to meditate, and I was feeling this sensation in my hands again, and it was burning. It was so painful. I was like, this might be more serious than I thought, because this is hurting way more than I was prepared for. So I was sitting there trying to focus on nothing, basically, because I was taken by this force almost. As I went into the zone, into that state of meditation, I started to feel the same pain from the left hand as well. And by that point, I figured it's not the pain, it's not the physical injury that I have, it's something else. It's the energy that I'm feeling in my palms right now, because we were sitting meditating with palms up. That was something that I hadn't done before. And as I was sitting there feeling the burning sensation in my hands, I also felt my body reacting to it. And then as we were sitting there, all of a sudden I was kind of erecting my spine, and I was feeling pulled up by this cord in my spine, so that I was completely erected. But as I was there, I was traveling so far into a different world that I was kind of blown away by what I could feel, knowing where I was sitting, because it was blowing. It was November. It was cold, but I didn't feel cold. The tears starting to stream down my eyes from bliss, and I was feeling this insane calm. And then the minutes ticked by, and all of a sudden we had been sitting there for quite some time, and I was interrupted by this sound of shivering teeth, like this. Right? Turns out that one of the participants, he had not got into the mode, so he had been sitting there with us until we were done, which was like 20 minutes, and that is cold when you're not in that state. So it took me quite some time to get back into my body at this point, but I felt like I could be there forever. There was no problem sitting there meditating. And as I was opening my eyes, I saw that I was completely dry, and my boxer shorts were dry as well. I was like, this is interesting, right? And just in the moment that I open my eyes, I peek over at Marius and he opens his. And we just look at each other, and just that, right? We had been somewhere together, and I felt him more than I could see or perceive him, because my eyes were closed, yet I saw everything in my vicinity. Like, I saw him very clearly in that state. I couldn't see Stian as well, or as clear, because he was not on that energy, so he was freezing and was trying to force himself to be there. But I was kind of blown away, and when we got back up, this guy that came out of the water when we came over there, he said, "What's the secret?" And we said, "I have no idea. We're trying to build this plane in the air. We're trying to figure out what this is." And from there, we kind of went in silence, and just sometimes bringing up the fact that, did that happen? Did you feel that? Right? Just trying to make sense of what just happened. So after that, we went up to the hotel, which was a plan that we came up with to do the podcast. We had no idea how we were going to go and meet George from True Life, because we were in a car, and I had my office, which is a bag that I'm having back there. It's like just a laptop. And I wanted it to be good in the setting. And I didn't have a studio, and I felt like the whole perfectionist coming over me. So we went to the hotel, and I went over to the receptionist and I say, "Can you help me tonight? You might actually save a life." And she said, "Sure. What's the problem? What can I do for you?" And I said, "We have a podcast, and I'm struggling finding a place to do that. Do you have a room or something that I can just use for that duration?" And she's going like, "Yeah, of course. Follow me." Take me down the hallway into this meeting room with water coming out of the wall, like a water dispenser. Carbonated water, by the way. I was like, that is very interesting. This could not be more perfect. We do the podcast. George gets a very interesting story right after we've done it. We're still trying to figure out what this was, and we are going over to this new adventure, this ceremony, right after the podcast. And he was psyched, right? So today marks another anniversary, a year ago, where I met George Monty. We had an amazing talk, and then we went up and we went out of the hotel, and out there, the last participant is sitting, and he just landed a investment for $1 million or 1 million euros, something like that. Now, the deal didn't come through in the months that came after that, but in the moment, he had just said, "All right, let's do it." And another person had said, "Yes, I am going to do this with you. Let's be partners." And he had literally landed €1 million in investment to create this retreat center. And I caught that on tape. So that's pretty cool. But we connected, and we started the journey back to the retreat location. And that's where we start to see things happen. because by that point we also were guided. We were supported by a, let's just call him a spiritual headhunter. He was very in tune with energies and all these things from past lives and things that I had no idea about. And he had been giving me information over WhatsApp about what could happen based on one of the participants specifically beforehand. And I was like, all right, well, you've given me enough information to have me notice this, to really pay attention to this, so I'm gonna I'm gonna trust you. And I did. And the TTX physical is very different from what most can really picture, I think. But we went through the program, and on ceremony day, we had this thing visit the compound. And we were given a name for this entity where a lot of things happened. A lot of things happened that was beyond coincidental, that had me really pay attention, because it was so out of what I considered to be normal that what can you do? Are you going to deny the fact that it's happening right in front of you? Or are you going to just be a little open minded about this and say, all right, let's deal with it? Because we had a battle going on in the ceremony hut around the fire. Like, there was a war going on between light and dark, and the entire, like, everyone in the team had to cooperate to get through it. There was an entity there that made things very interesting. And I can go very, very much into detail on that, and I could probably write a book about it. But that's not the point. So I'm going to leave that cliffhanger for you right there. We went up to the cabin, and like many other things that happens on TTX or in the tribe experience, they are there. It's like Las Vegas. Whatever happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. And there are things that you cannot really explain for people who are not there. So this marked the first day where Marius had felt something different. He had felt what we considered to, like, what we call the Christ consciousness, where you feel so connected and you feel powerful and you feel otherworldly almost. You feel like you're so aligned that it's hard to explain. You can't really explain it to someone who has not gone through that. Because Christ consciousness is not a religious book. You know, it's more or less the source of the book. So he had some issues that we didn't know about back then to come to grips with this. And after the tribe experience, he went back to his old environment. Everyone went back to our normal lives. And he started to feel things more intense. And he couldn't make sense of it. So he was trying to do anything that he could to make sense of it. We hadn't talked about Christ consciousness because it didn't feel like it was something that we had to talk about. So when he started to act upon these feelings, he was considered to be a person who was struggling with mental health, like a mentally unstable person, because he was talking about things that most people could not even fathom, and they just deemed him crazy, as it does tend to happen in this society. So the months passed. He went on this journey that he wasn't really open with the team because the team wasn't there. This was just a tribe experience. We hadn't created the infrastructure that could actually support the journey of getting these new insights to that degree. And so he was pretty much alone. And when things started to go bad, I actually drove him on the request of the police and the doctors. I drove him into the mental hospital. I knew that this was going to be a journey. Did not know how much, but we came in there. He got admitted, and he went through hell, probably 100-folds. But he was also 100% in control. He saw the system at this point. He saw what the system was doing, where they diagnosed him with a problem that they deemed was a problem. They gave him pills, medicine, that blocked him from feeling bad, coincidentally also blocking him from feeling good. And he was zombified. He was neutered. He was not the same person anymore because of these medications. And I started to see the system in a new light again after having gone through so many different instances where I see the system as just the whole ignorant custodian that just does things because, and it hurts people a lot. Marius got the worst of it, so he documented his journey from within the mental hospital, doing the back then called the 100-day challenge. So he had this emotional anchor where he could go back and review that mindset, that state. And after a while, having talked to Tribe, having the support network around him, and walking the path, he came back out. We connected and we started to be with each other a lot more, and we started to talk about how we can make this a transformational story where we could use his story for good to help other people, to really make the system see that, you know what, we have done stuff that was not really what you recommended in terms of healing a person, but it worked. It actually did cure the problem. So we have something to say. We continue to document this. We continue to do TTX events, and we continue to do everything that we've been doing the last year, just setting up everything to facilitate that growth and that transformation for everyone, to make sure that we know how to help people where they are at. And because of this, we have attracted a lot of people. And those people have come in with new insights, new perspectives, new wisdom, and they have come up with new opportunities. So within 1 year, we have so many people in the tribe that it is hard to fathom. And we have opportunities now to help people go through that in a supportive manner instead of going through alone like Marius did. But the point is, he started to wear off the medicine, lithium, that disconnected him from feeling bad, but also good. Like a mood stabilizer, as they call it. Stupid. That, like, seeing the effect crushed me. So we continue to do ice bathing and we continue to talk, and just having a conversation with someone who sees you is healing. If you haven't, then I really highly suggest you try to have a conversation with someone who actually wants you to succeed. Not someone who will say, oh, I remember when that happened to me. No, the people who are actually there to really be there for you and lift you up. Because I think that everything that the system has concocted in terms of diagnoses and all that stuff is just bullshit. And it can be fixed. And I'm saying that based on my own experience and the experiences that I've seen others have in my direct contact. So I'm starting to see that the reality that we're living in is very much malleable, because we have been living in a reality that was formed by other people who tried to do something that went along with their agenda. Let's just say it like that. Marius feels a lot better now. He has dreams, he has aspirations now, he's doing things. He's still suffering a little bit because he's still trying to find motivation to do stuff. So now, after fixing the actual problem, he's now going in to find the motivation and the drive that comes from his inner core to align himself with the goals and what he can do based on his magic that he can provide to the world. And that is, that's in some ways a different journey. That is a journey after the dark journey. Because first you have to deal with the shit. And then you can start to work your way towards fixing something, or, adding something to your life that's actually going to give you something instead of something that you have to give constantly. Like, if you're getting up every day to go to a work you hate, you're going to give energy in amounts you cannot really explain. Because if it goes on for a long time, the habit is just to feel bad. There's a habit in talking about problems and just feeling bad because of the situation that you don't know how to fix because you don't know what you don't know. It's very logical. But he is now feeling that energy and that motivation to do stuff. And because of that, I have been able to go deeper into my journey. And I'm still trying to figure out what has actually happened in terms of transformation, because I think that transformation is just something that you have to do throughout your entire existence. Growth is the only constant. And if you start to go around, if you start to walk up the mountain is going to be limitless. It's going to be infinite, which it should be. The journey in itself is the goal, right? So, as I've been going on my journey alongside Marius, alongside all the other people in the Legacy Forge, and seeing how all these things are just happening, because when you are at that point where you genuinely feel freaking amazing every day, and you're at that frequency, then energy attracts more of the same. We have talked about this so many times, and many people say it, but they don't really live it, it seems, because they're still surprised when the universe is giving them the things that comes from being in that state. So I tried to test that. What can happen? Ooh, sorry. What can happen? I started to talk to people that I felt like talking to. I started to honor my energy more, not being there for every single person who came to me, because after a while, people are gonna flock, and you don't have access to the time needed or the energy needed to help everyone. It's not possible. So I started to really limit my own circles. I came up with a diagram for this. It's literally just one circle, and if one circle is one person, and one person has three people, three circles to worry about, and only that, really, this inner circle is just three circles, three people, then you're helping those, they are helping you, you are growing, and you have time to do so, and energy to spare because you're getting energy from interacting with these three people, you know? And at some point, you might say that the three people are so like minded that there are no more energy to be had than the one you're creating by just being with each other. Having a fourth person in that equation, then, and that person not being on that level, is going to pull them up, like launching them into the next frequency because they're going to be pulled into it. They can't help it. They're going to feel the energy of that interaction, and they're going to be pulled in. Now, if you had three people who were low vibing and you came in with a high vibe, you're going to be pulled down because the energy is going to be overwhelming. You're not going to be able to navigate it as easy as if everyone was at the same level. So that's where it kind of becomes very important. Who do you spend time with? That's not the point of this video. So basically, I was starting to see things that I could not really explain. I felt something and I said, I'm going to do that because it feels right. I feel like this is going to happen like that. And because I felt it, because I just communicated what the sensation I had was, it happened every freaking time. These unlikely things popped up in my life where I had encounters with new people who felt like I've known them for years. New things happened online. I noticed things that just removed weeks of the journey to get to wherever I was going, because I was just aware and I was just knowing that this is exactly how it's supposed to be. I'm just supposed to be here right now. I'm supposed to be the best person that I can be for myself and those around me, live the best life that I can, and because of that, energy attracts more of the same. I want to play. I want to have fun. I want to have amazing conversations. I want to have more money than I know how to do with because I can then create more things that's going to help more people. I want this. I want that. I want to experience that. I just start to say what I wanted instead of what I didn't want. More people are talking about problems than the things that they want to do, right? This is something that I have seen, that in small communities, it's really hard to talk to a high vibing, like minded person because they are just not there. We are a minority at this point. But once I was just going all in on this and surrendering to that process, things happened that I could not really explain. And there was no point in explaining it as well, because the secret was simple: live the best life you can, be the best version of you can. Stop focusing on what might be the problem. Am I addicted to this? Shit, I should go and seek out the advice of every fucking therapist there is about this, and then focus so much on the problem that I'm just identifying with it. No, be. Just be. Be you and see that things are coming in ways that you cannot really explain. And there's no need to explain it. It got me into knowing about the frequencies 432 and all that stuff, which is a completely different rabbit hole to go down to. But because of all this, I saw that I needed to do something that could help my own mental health, because I could not be relying on other people to do stuff that I was dependent on. Makes sense? It's like if you have a team and you still have to do the most of the work, then you're still not really getting the benefits of the team. So I thought, well, we have the technology. We have the technology of AI. I can then create an AI version of myself, and I can make sure that the version of myself that is online knows what I need to do in terms of admin and in terms of all these things that I have to do, so that I don't have to worry about that. Then I get more time to focus on myself, to get love to my family, to go out and have fun with my family. Just last Sunday at 2 a.m. in the evening, I picked up my partner and we drove 4 hours to reach a breakfast at 7 a.m. and then had a full-on spa day for the first time ever. Had a spa day that just blew everyone's mind, because it was finally we can relax, right? It was good. If you haven't, go take a spa. Thing was, I wanted to be able to do more of those things, to have fun with my kids, to travel more, and not having to worry that everything else in the Legacy Forge was not being done because I was trying to live. So, as I was talking to a friend of mine about this, who coincidentally came into my life, this is another story as well. It might actually be part of the same, but a Wednesday way back when, I met this guy who came from a community that I run, and we talked, and it was like it's good to see you for the first time again. Happens every time. Um, we talked, and then Friday I was actually with him and my family. I brought my family up there. We slept over at his place, and from Saturday to Sunday, we slept in a house that he was selling, like this mansion of a house. And just having that experience, just having someone say, well, here's the address. I'm selling the house. It's empty. There's still some things, the necessities are there still. So go down there and enjoy. Enjoy. It was like, okay. you know? So I slept over in this house, and I just got blown away. The shower had 2 showers. It was that kind of house. And we have been very silent after that meeting. Didn't really talk a lot until it was time for us to talk again. And it was about AI. It was about the technology that has been unleashed on the world. And as we were talking about it, we were talking about these new solutions that we can come up with to make life as enjoyable as it should be for everyone, and how simple it is. And it would actually be more simple if this and that and that. And coincidentally, I turned over to see my YouTube feed, and it said Sam Altman of OpenAI had Dev Day, the first Dev Day of OpenAI, which means that they had an announcement. It's like when Steve Jobs went up on the stage and said, "We're going to launch the iPhone," right? Announcing to the world the updates that they have done within the company. And the updates they had done solved everything that we were talking about. It was exactly the thing that we were talking about we needed in order to do the things that we had to do. It was too much to bear, more or less. But I dove in. This happened on Saturday, Tuesday or Wednesday this week. And after that, I've been diving deep into Python and learning programming and doing all the things that I can. And I have no idea how to program. I'm not a programmer. I did everything that I could to understand what I needed to understand so that I can communicate it. Because today you just have to be able to talk. And if you can talk, if you can communicate your thoughts in a good manner where it makes sense, there is logic to it, and there is a actual outcome to what you want to have said. You know, we've been calling it magic for so long, or spelling. We've been calling it this for so long, but we haven't really considered what that means. Because now we can say that to a computer that is connected to everything in the world, and it can do things for you. You can create things by saying them. That's what we are going to focus a lot on, like inside of the Legacy Forge now, because if people just understood that anyone can do this, my 5-year-old, 6-year-old now, my 6-year-old daughter can do this because I've tried. She can talk. She can create apps without knowing how to program. My mother, if I had a great grandmother, she could do it. Anyone can do it. There is nothing stopping you from doing it other than your thought of not being able to do it. If you don't believe that you can talk, you're not going to be able to do it. So the world shifted a lot. Now, I am going into AI with Python and all that stuff because I'm not going to dabble. I go all in. I want this to have, I want to create what I want to create with this, which is going to be a completely new way of living. Because, you know, the life that we all know, the reality that we all know, it is conditioned by what happened in 1902, 1666, and a whole bunch of other historical moments that most people don't really care about. But it is happening because of certain things that has just been going on for a long time. We are at that shift, and many people here will know what I'm talking about when you're going through from 3D to 5D, ascending, when you're just, you know, the collective global ego death, whatever you want to call it. We're going through a shift. And everyone have the opportunity to react to that shift. Now, a reaction in this point would be to start to see, what do you want? What do you want to have in the world? Who do you want to be? And then starting to say it. And then using the technology to actually help you get there. It's not that complicated. It's not harder than that. So as I started to do that, here we come into the pivotal tale of transformation moment. I had a few conversations along this path. And I have a lot of people who wanted to reach out, who are waiting for a response, or who sent a message and I haven't responded. For that, I apologize, but I don't have the time or the energy or the capacity to go and talk to everyone. That's why I wanted to create a system that could help everyone. Now I'm able to create something that can help everyone. And it is going to be as good or better than what I could do myself while I'm sleeping. I want to create the most authentic, personal, individual journey for every single person who wants to do something, and not having it being a template, a here it is, buy my stuff, where everyone is just saying sign up to the platform. I want everyone to be a leader in their life so that they can be the circle that can support the 3 other circles, and then you can just keep doing that. Every single person is going to create from within and out. And by doing that, you're going to raise the frequency of the planet. And having those intentions, feeling that energy, and going through and doing the things I did, I got in contact with other people who allowed me to do that. Yesterday, I talked to a person who had been on the waiting list for a long time, and I talked to him. Finally, felt like this is a perfect time. It just feels right. So I sent a message. We jumped on a call, and I was blown away. I still do not know how to react to it, because the tale of transformation that I'm talking about is the final puzzle piece landing. And everything that we have done so far, everything in terms of my my own personal development, and everything has just come to this place where now all the pieces are there. And I think it happened because we were just going through the transformation. We knew that everything is just a journey. So by doing that, other people noticed. And when you can come over the fact that you don't have to do everything yourself, you're going to be supported by the people who are doing their own thing, their own magic, and it's just supporting the one vision. You're just a legacy forger within a movement. It's not like, I want my dream to be fulfilled, blah, blah, blah. It's more like, I'm going to create this and I'm going to do it cost whatever it's going to cost. And then you're going to get people that see this. They come in and say, I think we can help each other. Then those things start to mingle in and you start to create this insane thing that is going to just blow everyone away. The puzzle pieces are on the table. The only thing that I have to do now is just to put those pieces together and continue to do exactly what I want to do. And I think that if everyone just knew that you can just do what you feel is the right thing to do. Of course, there are things that you have to consider. Like if you are in the system now, if you have a normal life, then there are things you have to consider in order to get into a place where you can just create because you want to create, of course. But if you don't take the step, it's not going to happen. You know, as we say that there is one mountain, there are a lot of paths up the mountain. The only ones who are losing are the ones going around the mountain saying it's not possible. So I just wanted to create this video today because normally we have TTX Virtual where we have a live stream every single or every other Saturday, right? At the same time, everything. The reason it's not happening now is because I wanted to see, is it still possible if I continue to just do exactly the things that I've been doing and doing them according to what I have to do in order to reach my goal that I have set 10 years ago? Lo and behold, it works. So this is a video, sure, but I hope that this has been of value to you. Because right now I'm spending time with my family as you're watching this live with the other people who are currently here right now. I'm in the chat. You can just holla. Hey me. And I'm celebrating my dad. And I'm just trying to really feel the fact that it's 1 year to the day since all this really started with the Legacy Forge. And I want to thank you for being here. Because honestly, I don't think you know what this is. I hope you don't. I hope that you think that this is just a website or a Discord server or a YouTube channel or whatever. So that I can blow your mind. So freaking obliterate your mind or your perspective of reality when I show people what this actually is. When you see the things that we are doing, the things that we are going to do, one cannot help but smile. I think that we have, as a collective species. That's actually a hard word. Species. As a collective species on this planet, I think that we are heading into a very interesting. I know that we are heading into a very interesting era. And our only job is to make sure that all the people who wants to know more about what that era is with the technology and everything that is happening, our only job is to make sure that they know. That's why we have these. That's why there are things here every other Saturday, because we're still here and we're still doing our thing. And if you want to join that thing, just go to thelegacyforge.com/secret. We should have a competition. Right now there are 3 cards on that. If you click me, I can assure you that I'm going to give you more than you can expect. All right? You're going to get some freebies and you're going to get some awesome stuff. And then you're in. That's it. Like, as long as you are inside of the Legacy Forge in some capacity whatsoever, if you're just subscribed to the YouTube channel, you're going to see things. But if you are in the Legacy Forge.com/secret, you're also going to see the things that we are working on all the time. And I have not sent one email. I'm very sparsely. I'm not sending emails. I'm not doing the things that I should be doing because I don't feel like doing them. But when I have an update, I send that, and I invite everyone that I can to it, because if I do invite you to stuff, you can damn near guarantee that it's going to be very, very worth your time. So, with that, I want to say happy anniversary to everyone. Have a fantastic day. If you have questions, you know how to use the chat. Go in and get into Discord, ask the questions, reach out to the people, or just scroll and browse and see the things that we have so far. Very soon, you're going to be able to talk to Orpheus the Wise inside of the Legacy Forge. And that's going to be interesting. But with that said, I hope that you are living the life that you want. Take care of your freaking family. And I will see you on the next TTX or the next video or face to face or wherever our paths cross again. But I will see you, because we do see you. Bye.